Just running VRD Carbon here. This was my Trucks of Freedom bundle here. It's got the aluminum portal axles, the brass front portal weights. Other than that, it's fairly standard build. Stock shocks set up the stock way, you know, all that good stuff. But yeah, check out these inner fenders here. Super nice, man. They fit this body so nicely, and wrap around the shock towers there. I mean, it just looks so nice not being able to see through the body there. Really happy with the way the paint turned out here on my Coyote body. I'm really digging this. These are just some cheapy like Endura wheels, and I threw on these larger beadlock rings with some scale Endura hardware. Super happy with the way that turned out. I do want to I want to braze up some custom stainless bumpers for this thing. I might even try my hand at making a cool little roll cage inside, and then I'll cut the windows out and do like some nice a nice interior with some seats and a driver figure and stuff. I think that would look super cool. Although it's going to add some weight, you know, especially at the top. I got to get some different sliders on here too. These are just the stockers. They do not match up with this body very well. So also testing out this Amazon servo here. Really nice aluminum case, listed as a 55 kg. I kind of believe it. It's got some good power. BLS 3355. I can bump this up to 8.4 volts, and I think it would have even more power. So I think I'm going to put an external BEC in here. It's my one gripe with the Fusion. That's my only gripe with the Fusion, is I wish it had a stronger BEC. So let's just see. The low speed control on this truck. Fusion Pro 2300. I mean, that's complete insanity that it will just rotate that slow. And it would climb any obstacle at that exact speed. It's just craziness. So smooth. There is no jumpiness to the throttle. I don't have any sort of throttle curve programmed in here. And it's just ultra, ultra precision. So I filmed this running video directly after running my dual motor, dual ESC Rift crawler. And I have to say, as much of a beast as that Rift is and as capable as it is, this truck kind of shocked me a little bit, because it doesn't have any real features. It doesn't have dig, it doesn't have four-wheel steer, it doesn't have selectable overdrive. It's basically just throttle and steering. It's just like a very basic crawler in a way, but it's just so well done out of the box. This kit is so well tuned and well developed that it just makes it so much fun to drive. And a huge part of that is just how predictable it is. The truck will absolutely let you know when it is not happy in a situation. It doesn't ever really just flop over immediately or tumble or do anything like too suddenly. And this thing it's set up box stock. This is how the manual said to set it up. I haven't messed with suspension tuning, springs, shock fluid, shock locations. Everything is just kind of like built out of the box. And I think that's the value you're getting when you spend a little bit more and you buy a Vanquish VRD over something else. It's really just, they did all the research, they did the testing, they did the tuning, the development. You really see that value when you go out and drive it. Because there's a lot of other kits that can be set up better. This could be set up better if I spent a little more time with it, but you know, you're going to have to do a lot of that legwork yourself. You're going to put a kit together. It's not going to work right the first time. You're going to have to mess with different things and geometry, and then you kind of never really know, you know, where to go, what direction to go. So you end up spending a lot of time just going back and forth and testing and changing things and tuning things, where this, build it as it is out of the kit and throw some good tires on that you know work well in your area, whatever body you want, and you're kind of good to go. Throw a Fusion in it. That's it. It's very simple. It's a very easy rig to achieve like really high-end level of control and predictability without doing much work. What I love about driving a rig that's so well dialed like this truck is, it just gives you a really good sense of accomplishment at the end of the day, where you go out and you're able to really try some difficult lines, and with such a wide margin of error that like this truck has, it kind of allows you to attempt things. And even if you don't succeed, like here, allows you to just kind of like work at something and figure out, okay, I got to take a slightly different approach. But at the end of this, like, even though I had to take a couple reverses and approach it differently, I didn't feel like I failed at this obstacle. I ultimately made it up. The truck didn't tumble off, didn't flip over backwards. I eventually figured out a way to make this work. Now, if I came here to the same spot multiple times, I would eventually learn, like, okay, well, the line is over here. You know, look, I'm not running gates or anything where I'm held to a very specific line, so I can attempt a few different things. And you feel accomplished because the more you go out and run and the more you're able to just work at and eventually succeed, it's a good feeling. You know, you spend a lot of money, a lot of time setting these things up, painting the body, doing all this stuff. You finally get some time to go out and run it. I want to enjoy myself. I want to go out and drive a truck that is a rewarding experience. It's like, hey, everything I put into this is worth it because look at what it can do. You know, as much as I love building rigs and testing and tuning and trying to improve things, I also love going out and running them, and I want it to be an enjoyable experience.
All right, let's see.
And when you have a rig that's really dialed in, it allows you to just go out and you don't focus so much on the truck and what changes you need to do or what changes you made. You kind of just go out and drive it, and you focus on finding some cool lines, and it's about the overall experience, just going out and finding some cool obstacles to play around on and just kind of explore the limits of the truck. And that's what I love to do. I love to go out and just kind of forget about all the time I spent working on them and building and tuning and stuff. I just want to go out and run it and focus on the rocks and finding some cool stuff to run. And you know, you go out with a buddy and you get a little competition going on, and you see who can do certain sections better or first shot. And it's a lot of fun like that. There's nothing more frustrating than when you go out and just everything you try just seems like you're fighting the vehicle and it just doesn't work right, and it's always flipping over, or the tires aren't gripping, or you know, it's just like a frustrating experience. And you're like, man, what am I doing? Wow. You spend all this time and money and just like, man, I'm just aggravated. So when you have a truck like this, that was the thing that really stood out the most with this. I started driving this and I'm like, man, this is so relaxing and fun. It's kind of doing everything I want it to do. It's really like fun to watch it do everything. The suspension on this thing just moves so well. I feel like it's sprung so well, and the damping is just spot on. That's a huge part of this. It just feels like, I'm like, man, it seems like it's sitting up kind of high, but then you climb an obstacle and all of a sudden you get like a nice full compression. You're like, oh no, it's fine the way it is. Like I don't even have any like stretchy hairbands on the front of this truck to keep it from unloading. Maybe that'll help, but I'm almost like, I don't even know that I need it. That's another good thing to say about this truck. I'm like, I don't even know where I would go from here. I don't need to change anything. And that's very rare that I take an RC out of any sort, a basher, a crawler, anything, and say, oh man, I don't really need to change anything. You know, I do want to try some different tires on this, but you know, doesn't need them. So speaking of tires, these are G8 compound Proline trenchers. Pretty amazed at how well these worked. I don't know why in my head I don't remember how good these are. I've run them on a few different rigs, and then they did extremely well today. Previously I was running some J-Concept Ruptures with some Three Brothers anti-foams, and they might be about 10% better than these, but they're also like 100% more cost, because you're spending $70 for tires, you're spending $70 for inserts. These are, you know, okay, probably $70 tires, but the inserts in here, I'm just running hair bun donuts. You could get them for like probably $1 a piece off Amazon. You could not find a cheaper insert, and man, they work so nicely. Maybe not quite the same level as like a good 3D printed that's matched to your vehicle, but for something you can just pick up and throw in anything, I feel like they've always worked for me. Any truck I've run them on, I'm like, oh yeah, these are actually really good. So it's pretty surprising. I will be doing another version of high truck, low truck, which I had used the VRD in the past, where I put this up against my Red Cat Fusion, Ascent Fusion, just to see, like, you get an idea of what a very expensive truck versus a very cheap truck gets you, and which one is more capable. And I had a cool like split screen action going on with that. So if you want to check out the video, you can go back and look at my I think it was under my Ascent, my Red Cat Ascent playlist. I'm definitely gonna do that again. I'm always curious. It's nice to put trucks in a little bit of a head-to-head battle, and you kind of get a good sense of, you know, how well they work. Sometimes you just go out and run a truck, you know, individually by itself, and you kind of, you may have a misconception about it. You either think it's better than it is or worse than it is. But when you have something to directly compare it to, sometimes it becomes really more obvious which one is working better. So you could stay tuned for a future video. It's definitely a lot of editing work to do a split screen, but I think I learned a lot last time, and I think I can do it even better. But it is cool to see two different trucks doing the exact same obstacles. I will set up gates for that. It is kind of cool just to see, and you kind of learn a lot about your truck and your setup too that way. The next time you see this truck will probably be, I'll probably be doing a little test video on the new J Concept Rock Blocks tires. I picked up a set of those a little while back. Excited to try them. They look really good. I really love that they're like a nice scale looking tire too. I think they're going to look awesome on this truck. And I'll probably run them again with the Three Brothers anti-foams just because I have them sitting out being unused right now, and I know those work incredibly well in my terrain here. So stay tuned for that. I had also mentioned that I want to make some custom bumpers for this, and possibly even an interior roll cage with a nice scale interior. I think that would be super cool on this truck, and I'll do a video on that. I've been talking about that for a while. I really just got into doing brazing. I've been making some bumpers for my pre-runner builds, and they've been coming out pretty good. I've been experimenting with different materials. I was using just some mild steel at first. Then I swapped over to stainless steel. That worked really well. I was pretty surprised I was able to do stainless. I think the brazing joints came out even better on that, and it looks cooler. So I now want to actually try some aluminum. I don't want to add a ton of weight to this truck, especially with the roll cage inside.
It's really
so I want to see if I can pick up some good brazing rod for aluminum and give that a try. I think it would be very cool to have the windows cut out and a nice interior in here and have it not weigh a ton. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hit me up in the comments if you have any questions. I'm going to have a bunch of videos coming up. Weather's finally getting good. I'm going to get out with a bunch of my other crawlers. I actually have this same body for my SCX6 that I need to do an install one day. But again, I want to make a roll cage for that thing. So that'll be probably a whole video series because that seems really involved. But stay tuned, guys. Going to have a lot more coming up in the future. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. Later.
Steep. Ooh, nice.